Hello, everybody. Welcome in. I have a special show for you guys tonight. You guys have all heard about Hurricane Ian, and the destruction is done down there, along where one of our owners, Matt Wright, lives. It's been devastating, of course, for so many families. Death toll is near 100 now. Billions of dollars in damage to properties. Infrastructure has been torn apart. The ability for people to get food, water, gas, and their necessities in the area has been completely toppled. And so tonight I have an incredible guest, Brad Carlton of the Adventure Relief. I am butchering that. I'm sorry.
Adventure.
Team Adventure, yes, who has come out there and is providing relief in the area. So I have Brad Carlton, Captain Brad, if you will, coming on to talk about this tonight. So we're not gonna waste time and talk about the sponsors tonight. I love you, sponsors. I appreciate each and every one of you, of course. But make sure that you guys are tuning in and following us. Head over to anchor.fm/muddiedwaters/subscribe to be a part of the subscriber group, to where you're going to be getting exclusive content, but you'll also be able to check out each and every one of these episodes in video podcast format. So if not, we love you all for tuning in, checking us out, but you guys only get the audio function on the audio apps. But you can check us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Float, anywhere and everywhere you can find a streaming service, but as well as find us on the podcast, on any of your favorite podcast apps. So make sure you guys are following us. Make sure you guys are tuning in. Tonight, I am incredibly excited to have on the captain, Mr. Brad Carlton. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Great, great.
So I'm sorry for butchering your name there in the beginning. As everyone is well aware, Muddy Waters doesn't go without any technical issues. Ran into a couple coming in here, and then I go ahead and just butcher up the organization. So you have an incredible history with coming out there and doing what libertarians talk about, and that's picking up the shovel and helping out and doing what we can for our communities. And so before you guys arrived here and helping out as in a response to Hurricane Ian, I would love to know, what's your backstory? What have you been doing for the last 3 years before this?
Well, we actually went back a little farther to Hurricane Irma, did a small relief effort there. We were in Virginia at the time when it hit, but we live in Florida, and we purchased a small trailer and bought about 150 backpacks and put together backpacks for children, backpacks for women, backpacks for men, because typically in any disaster zone that gets a flood and everything else, people lose everything. And when we went into Clewiston and they had lost everything, the women were walking around with nothing but underwear and t-shirt and a baby in their hands because they lost everything in the house. So relief teams come in to give them something, and they've got nothing to put it in. So the backpack would contain bare essentials, which anybody can do. We would go to Walmart and buy 150 backpacks, and then buy toothpaste and feminine products, and stuff for the men, stuff for the kids, power bars, water, just basic life essentials. And we went in and brought a trailer to load of that with chainsaws and all sorts of other products, and went into the community and passed them out. And we went in, we spent one day and passed them out. We sort of felt like that really wasn't enough. It went in, put a little Band-Aid on it, hoping that the bigger NGOs, organizations would come in, like FEMA and Red Cross and all the big boys, and fill the blanks, only to find out that because they're so big, they move slowly because they got a lot of red tape. Then Hurricane Dorian happened, and we know the Bahamas. We've been down to the Bahamas. We happened to live 6-8 months on a boat, and we had the perfect vessel to go there. And we were told by literally hundreds of people, don't go, and the water's going to be dangerous and all this other stuff, and they're going to riot and steal your stuff off the boat. And it was just a bunch of lies, basically, fake news, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So we loaded up the boat with about 10,000 pounds of equipment, gear, grills, food, freezers, tents. We happened to meet up with another relief group, and they helped fund what we were doing, because it was just my wife and I funding out of pocket. It was going to be our life give back. And we finally got out. We finally got the boat all ready to go, and of course the weather kicked in, and we couldn't go. So we were sitting in the dock, frustrated for 3 days, and we ended up arriving at Green Turtle Cay 10 days after the hurricane. And I've seen a lot of desiccation in my life because I'm ex Coast Guard, and I've never seen anything like that before. I was like the hand of God just came down and flattened everything.
Hmm.
Um, when we got to the island, there was no government there, no government boats there, nothing. Um, they had some water there. They had some MREs, and if anybody's really familiar with MREs, it's not something an older person can eat. It spikes your diabetes. It's meant for 18, 20-year olds that are ruck packing and run 5 miles a day. Um, and they had basically very little food, no real water, and definitely no electricity. And that went on until from September, December. We when we rolled in there with everything, the group we came in there with, the United Aid Foundation to help us. We within 24 hours we set up a kitchen. We were serving food. We went into a rectory, mucked it out, had water, bleached the walls, bleached everything, stapled blue canvas to it, and within that 24-hour period, we were serving 300 meals a serving.
That's
And
incredible.
then the volunteers started showing up. They were showing up, and we just basically said to them, "Wherever you are, we'll bring you lunches." We started making the lunches. Uh, 13 local people stepped up to the plate immediately. You just pick up the shovel and do what you got to do. Nobody's going to do it for you. And that is the truth. And when one person sees another person pick it up, it invites the next person. Well, 13 women jumped into our kitchen and pretty much pushed us aside and said, "We'll cook for you. We'll do whatever you want to do." Well, that went on from September till December. And that's a long term commitment for somebody to do that. And these people put their
Yeah.
lives on hold. They put their houses on hold. They were trashed. Um, there was no infrastructure in the island. The streets were still impassable. Um, we shortly within 2 weeks, we figured we were only going to go out there for 2 weeks, and that's really what we figured to go out there for. Realized we were running out of food, and the commercial government boats weren't coming. And we rallied up and we got contacted everyone we knew, got on Facebook, and we had flotillas of boats coming out, people that wanted to help, but that was only sustainable for a few weeks, and people run out of money to be running boats. It was 150 miles off Palm Beach. Um, but we made some real good friendships there, real good people. They did a lot of things. This one woman flew out two DC-3 cargo planes full of food to us, but it went to a different island because there's no airport on the island. So then
Oh,
we had to move 8,000 pounds of food in 90-degree weather from the airport to a ferry boat, from a ferry boat to the pier, and then figure out how to keep it refrigerated. Fortunately, because our boat is rigged up with two large generators, we had to rewire the boat to run the freezers. We had freezers coming over from the States on the smaller boats, and we ended up on a dock with 15 freezers, all lit up, and we were feeding the island out of that. And then when I asked again, the same person shipped and got me another cargo plane.
that's
Somebody I didn't
incredible.
even know, didn't even know. And then other people jumped on board with aircraft and flew stuff over when we needed it, and it just kept evolving. And then people, and we never raised funds before, didn't even know how to do it. People started giving us some substantial money to run the operation with. And again, we're not a charity, we're not an NGO, we're just husband and wife, humanitarian team. And when we went out there, um, the day we were sailing out, the couple that wanted to come out there with us, you can see the fear in their eyes, what they're about to do, and they bailed out 4 hours before the boat left. And we're thinking, what are we going to do?
Oh,
Well, I had a company that was working on my house, and I asked the owner if he'd come for a couple of weeks to help. He's now my best friend. Um, he was there the whole time. And this rolled on through December. And over that period of time, we got a restaurant in Florida through another guy that put on a full blown Thanksgiving Day dinner. They brought it out in the boat, right to pies to ice cream. We had a social night once a week because what people don't realize, it's like the storm that just went through. We're coming up on 1 week. And when I was Green Turtle Cay, they said we should get some PTSD counselors out here. And I looked up and I said, "What do we need those for? You don't need those." Well, PTSD is a real thing, because
yes.
I got it. Um, and that's what they need here now. and it makes you very emotional when you didn't think you had emotions. And
Yes,
real
yes.
strange. It's a very strange thing. I never shed tears in my life, and when I'm doing this stuff, my buddy and I get very emotional about different things. Some little child or whatever, you know, all these little kids on the island, families on the island, no income, no way to buy food. And if anybody's ever been to the Bahama, a tomato costs you like $5, just a tomato. And now there's no food on the island. Um, so we kept this effort up, and then we realized real quickly we got to somehow help get the restaurants going, the businesses going, get the island working again to make money.
Yeah.
And so I reached back out to the same person that got me the DC3s, and we got restaurant equipment brought over. And we worked with each individual restaurant. At the same time, they still had no water on the island. They had no power. We were getting generators. Well, the unique thing about our boat is we can make 2,000 gallons of water a day on our boat. So we would transport every day 350-gallon containers with a Polaris quad and a trailer we got off the island of somebody into town and stack them. And we put solar cells on them for our kitchen and gave half it to the island. And the water mission was out there, another relief group. But at the beginning, they only had small water makers. So we paired up with them and helped them, the other NGO. And again, this just evolved and evolved and evolved. And my friend Chloe Alley from Cape Coral, Florida, said, "It's coming up Christmas time. Why don't we put a concert for these people on?" I'm like, "I guess so." He made several phone calls. Next thing I know, people with big planes his church in. We set up a church group, blocked off the road, and this was the end of our food. And we had this huge concert. The whole town came. They blocked the roads. They felt great. And then we finished that up through Key West Cares. With the day we were leaving, we had really bad weather coming in. I said to my people, "I promise to get you home for Christmas. I promise to get you home for Christmas." And we're getting ready to leave, and Key West Cares Company said, "You can't leave for another 2 days." I'm like, "I have to leave. The weather's bad." "No, you can't leave. You're Santa Claus for Christmas. You cannot leave." So I went back to my crew and said, "It's going to be really ugly going home in these seas, but I'll get you home for Christmas. The boat will handle it. You're not going to like it." And they all said, "We're staying." So we stayed the extra couple of days. We came home on the 23rd in 15 to 20-foot seas. And it was a wonderful thing. Well, as we were leaving, we said, "There's got to be more we can do on this island." And we called out 3 widows that had their homes destroyed, that had no way of rebuilding their homes. And we started to adopt a home program. And it immediately took off because people knew us, they trusted us, and all the money and all the funding went to these people. It went to
Yeah.
people in need on the community of this island. And we raised a large amount of money, and we went through and mucked out these houses and sheetrocked these houses and put them all back together for these women. And while we're doing this, COVID came in, chased our volunteers away, chased us off the island. Well, we were determined to finish the project. So we went back, and then COVID came in again, chased us off the island, and sent the volunteers, but we went back again. And we worked through the COVID. And during the COVID, I'm a pilot. I have a plane. We were transporting medical supplies over there. I got some large medical donations, and we were bringing medical supplies over there on a regular basis. We brought back to the States a 4-month-old COVID positive baby boy that needed treatment. We brought back another couple that wouldn't have made it unless I brought him back. And then we finished up the houses, and we did some other work there. We just left Green Turtle Cay 3.5, 4 weeks ago and said, "Okay, we need a break." And we came back to our home in Cape Coral to relax. And this
Oh.
hits us.
So
We didn't plan on continuing being a humanitarian relief team right now. But in the
yeah,
future, we want to do something else. But I guess if you're religious at all, God had different plans for us.
that's
Because
that's that's what I was thinking, was like, you guys are just a godsend. You guys started off and you guys were like, we'll load up some backpacks and we'll come out and we'll distribute and help some people out. Then you guys moved down there to Green Turtle Cay down there in the Bahamas, and you guys build into like this monolithic thing, helping with the infrastructure, helping with getting people what they need, the food, the water, the necessities, the power, and all these things. And you guys kept providing. You guys kept saying, I can do more, and you guys continue to do more. This is you were talking, I know that you were talking about like PTSD and causing emotions. You were causing a little bit of emotions in me, just thinking of like all the goodness that you were sharing, and through the outpouring of your guys' heart and your effort and your energy to others. It's absolutely incredible. And I'm I'm hoping that one day you're going to get in touch with an author and just write this out, because it's going to be the most inspiring thing. You absolutely nailed it. When you pick up a shovel, you inspire other people to pick up a shovel. And I think that your efforts there cause people to step up and to do more. But I think that now, towards the end, you we're foreshadowing, of course, to this Hurricane Ian that's just happened. And you guys are back in action again. And so this is one of the things that I wanted to bring to the audience. So there's two things. First of all, for the technical issues, Brad is there, boots on the ground in Florida, competing and fighting against all of the things holding the people of Florida back from having a normal way of life again. And so, the connectivity and the network issues, blame it on the hurricane. But this is, we're not sitting there from Greenville, South Carolina, like me, talked about this. This is somebody who's sitting there on the front lines. So forgive us if there's any technical issues or any network issues. So it's coming through a little bit blurry. But you're taking action again down there in Florida. And a part of this, one of the things that you highlighted back there in Bahamas was that you guys didn't have much. You guys, as people were able to give to you guys were able to take that and redistribute it and give it out to help out, support others. So I want to first, before we get into what's going on there, I want to share this with everybody. If you guys are looking to help support, there is so many different ways that you can, but I want to give you guys that GoFundMe down there at the bottom. The GoFundMe is in the show notes. Please go over there. If you have anything capable, if you are able to send anything at all, go through that GoFundMe, help support it. If you need more information, you can contact Susan Donnelly. The number is there, 860-480-0140. Again, that's 860-480-0140. Look at the list of things. These are not things that we're not looking to make an extravagant life for anybody, but things like water, tarp, gasoline, nails. You're looking at insulation. You're looking at generators, if you're able to throw a little bit more money at this, batteries, lamps, lanterns, protein bars, things that are just there to help them do the basics of helping people live. So I wanted to give that. And so now we're to the timeline where you guys are coming back. You guys are exhausted. 3 years of working to help give back the livelihood to people in the Bahamas. You come back to relax, and Hurricane Ian comes through. Talk to me about that.
Nobody had a clue. Nobody thought it was going to be. Somebody was telling me the other day that they were reclassifying this thing as Cat 5. I don't know if it's Cat 5 or Cat 4. I really don't care. I know we registered 140-mile-an-hour winds at the building we were at. I have my whole family lives in Cape Coral. My mother lives, 90-year-old mother lives next door to me, and everybody hunkered down in my house. We're in my house at 9.5-foot tidal, and all of a sudden we're looking at this thing going to Tampa, and up north of Tampa, and it slowed down, and now it's going into Tampa. Now it's going into Sarasota. Now all of a sudden it's going to Cape Coral, and now all of a sudden it's building in strength. And I don't know, a Kimishore, 150, 140, doesn't really much matter. And it lasted a fair amount of time, and the eye went right over us. And we were at the house at 8 o'clock in that morning here. The water came up out of the canals, up 2.5 feet out of the canals. And I just said, we're not staying in the house anymore. We're not going to get trapped out here. We went to my friend Khalil's building in town. It's a hardened building with panic room. And we put both our families in there, and we hunkered down there. And the tornadoes were like railroad trains coming by. It was picked up a trailer in the yard and threw it right across the street from where the tractor trailers that flipped over. Swaths and swaths of telephone poles got knocked down, concrete poles, hurricane poles got knocked down. and the level of infrastructure that got destroyed is just monumental. The good thing about one thing about Florida is they've beefed up their building codes so much, unlike Green Turtle Cay, which we saw almost every building down. Or I have not seen any buildings area we are down, but all the shingle roofs are wiped right down to the plywood, or half wiped down to the plywood. And that's the relief effort we're looking at doing right now, is getting these houses dried in for these people, because there's no chance of them getting their insurance in and getting them rebuilt quickly. And once we dry them in, they'll be good for a good 6 months. Give them a chance to rebuild. And our primary focus is try to get to veterans, handicapped, elderly, people that cannot do it for themselves. If you got a two-story home and you got a Mercedes in the driveway and you wear a Rolex, we're not going to help you. Sorry, you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
You got the ability. But we're trying to search out the people, and it's a difficult thing to do sometimes. We're not trying to do a second home. We're looking for people that are in true need. And Chloe and myself were out there in the public today doing that. Today we have here, within 7 hours after the storm, Heart 9/11 out of New York, which evolved after 9/11, which we have a very strong relationship with Bill Keegan up there as the president of Heart 9/11. They called me up and they worked with us extensively in Green Turtle. We have a great relationship. And his lead person, Kelly, called me up and said, Brad, we're going to have people at your house in 6 hours. Emotionally, oof, blew you away. And Chloe and I looked at each other and said, we got to open a command center here and we got to do something. And we went into his building a business, and we just started up in a command center. We've already got 1,000 cases of water donated on the ground here. We got generators, we got roofing materials. The following day, Heart 9/11 sent a second crew in. Today's a third crew in. The Southern Baptist group that we've made relationships down in Green Turtle Cay with. They're rolling in here tomorrow with 11 people. Cypress Missions out of New Jersey, they're rolling in here next week with people, and a lot of other people. But we could sure use volunteers, tradesmen volunteers, like 3-man crew with a truck and a ladder, and we'll supply the materials to go out in the public and get these people tied in, roof dried in. When I say there's probably 20,000 buildings, homes that need to be tried in, I'm not exaggerating. There's probably way more than that. Or you can get into the point that the house that are flooded out, you can muck them out. But we want to try to save the houses that are savable right now, rather than just let them get wet and moldy and messed up.
And
That's where we're at right now. I mean, right now we're looking for funding. We're looking.
oh, we're gonna try and get him back. But that, I hope you guys can see, like, this is an initiative that I love to see people take upon and go out there and do these things. This is why I wanted to bring Brad Carlton on tonight to talk about this. Hopefully we'll get him back on. I'm gonna stand by and see if we can get him reconnected into this. But his efforts here, right? Like he said, he's not looking to come back and restore people who just have a means. He's looking to restore people who this was their entire livelihood, that this is the only thing that they had. This is coming along on the tail end of Florida Governor DeSantis asking for $65 billion in order to rebuild Florida. So there's a lot of need in the area, and he's able to do this. Welcome back, you guys.
Hey, there you go.
Technology at best, and we got a Skylink too.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I was just explaining it to them. I was just like, you guys are out there, kind of reiterating what you were saying. You guys are out there helping out the people that this was their only lives that were taken up. These aren't people that have a way and means of taking care of themselves, as you said, 20,000 people. But this is also on the tail end of Governor DeSantis asking for, I believe it was $65 billion from the federal government in order to help relieve from this. And as you already depicted from the Bahamas situation, there's a lot of delays. There's a lot of things that, if you get out in front and you take care of this before the government has to go through all of the bureaucratic red tape, you're able to save people's livelihood so much more, which is why your guys' rapid relief is so much more important than, you know, the government relief in that sense. You guys are actually providing a way and a mean of people to restore their lives.
Even some of these that big NGOs, I mean, they're just so wrapped up in their red tape. They mean well, but they would come in, they do a survey and see what the problem is. We sort of joked about it. It's like, oh, you need some water, you're going to die. We'll go back and we'll hold it to the committee. They approve it 4 weeks later, and 3 weeks later, you get another one, and the patient dies. The good thing about us not being an NGO is we had NGOs that actually came to us and funded us to do things they couldn't do under all their red tape. And they said, we really want to do this, and well, give us some funding, we can do it. And they would. You know, we got some very large donations, and we utilized them, and we said, we'll be accountable for it. We'll show you records and everything else, so you know where it went. You know, early in life, I made a very large donation one time, and I felt really bad afterwards because I really felt the money wasn't used properly and too much of it was wasted. Everything we do goes right to the community, and helping. So where we're at right now is we're looking at trying to see how much we get done, how much we can help the community. I mean, everything on that sheet, yes, we need. We're housing relief workers in a church right now, and we're trying to get more funding and more materials and more volunteer crews. So any of that and all of it, you can contact Susan Donnelly, and we'd love to hear from you.
Absolutely. It's incredible what you guys are doing, and I can't thank you enough for this. And you've listed out, you know, people to volunteer, people to donate, people to call out, reach out. Is there, now here's where things kind of get off the rails a little bit for me, is there's another aspect that you guys did, and you guys mentioned this with your Christmas or with the concert event. Was raising morale. What can we do from the outside? How can we get in touch? Can we send letters to you and your crew of you know, thank you cards, things like that? Is there something that you can, you know, send me, either you or Susan send me, that we can, you know, have a PO box or something like that? Because I would love to be able to send supplies, send money, but also send you guys our thank yous, and doing something like that. Would you guys be able
to reach out to Susan Donnelly on that?
Okay.
We appreciate that. That's not what we're looking for, though.
I know.
We'd rather have that effort applied to the people that really are in need. I mean, we've gone in just simply as much as canvassed somebody's roof and at the top and watertight, and they come out in tears and break down and give you hugs and everything. That's worth $1 million right there. Just because you went in with 3 or 4 guys and spent a half a day and dried them in, or you came with a couple cases of water and they're shut-ins, they can't get it. That means the most to us.
Okay.
You know, we're not looking for recognition for us. We tend to just like to be on the quiet side, to be honest with you. You know, some people have to give you the recognition, and every day, so we have to. We have to ask for money, because never in those life we went to anybody and asked for anything. But with the funding and the way this works, you do have to, and I realize that now. I didn't realize it at the beginning, but I do realize it. And we work very, very closely with World Central Kitchen. World Central Kitchen was a major sponsor for us, and we started running out of food. And if anybody knows them or knows Jose Andres, he is a phenomenal man, phenomenal. He flew down by helicopter 4 times to come see us, spend time with me and everything else. And they're just a phenomenal operation.
You guys are all incredible. This is what I've noticed from a lot of people who work in these humanitarian efforts, and you hit it on the head. I don't know if intentionally or not. You guys say, I don't need the credit, I don't need this, I'm doing this for the cause, I'm doing this to help people. Put your efforts towards helping them, but you guys are always quick to raise everybody else up, and I can't harp on this enough. I guess I get like hyper focused on that. You can tell when somebody is a great human being when they just go, I'm going to lift somebody else up. I'm going to do the efforts. I'm going to do these things. I wanted to hide back in the shadows and continue doing the good work, which this may be a little bit of a plug for a future show we're having. But it's also is like, Brad, I want to do what I can for you guys. I want to help make you guys.
We don't come in with an agenda.
Yeah.
You know, and we don't want to play politics. I want nothing to do with politics. I'm a bull in a china shop with politics. I'm one focused on only to help the people. And when the politics happens, I end up stepping on everybody's toes over it. And it's not necessarily pretty. So we're there to help the people. If we're not there to help the people, then why are we there? And I say to any other people that they want to help, if you're a tradesman, put on your boots, get in your pickup truck, bring a couple of tradesmen with you, some ladders. We'll get you some hot showers. We'll serve you some hot meals. And if you've never done it before, your heart will come out of your shirt when you see these people and see what you've done for them when they're in a state of despair. And they just don't know what to do. I mean, a lot of people live hand to mouth. This thing went through, they have no cash. They don't have money even to go buy gas, let alone sit in the line all day long or go into a grocery store. And now because all the computers are down, it's cash only, cash only. So, and we're shifting away from a cash society, you know, where credit cards and pay with your iPhone. And all of a sudden that doesn't work no more.
It's incredible. I wanted to keep this short and sweet for you tonight. I don't want to take up too much time. I know you guys are working tirelessly. It looks like you may have frozen. I hope you're still with us, but I wanted to give you an opportunity. Okay, perfect. I want to give you an opportunity if you had some last little bit of anything that you're needing beyond what we've already covered, any other last little tidbits or anything else that you want to cover with us before we wrap it up.
No, that's pretty much it. But I'll tell anybody that wants to come down here as a team, volunteer team, tradespeople, men and women, that once you've done this, if you've never done it before, and you're nervous about doing it. Once you've done it, it's a life-changing experience. And it really is. You look at things very different. I don't care what race, religion, color you are, what your background is, or whatever. The bonding you'll feel is unbelievable. It's been a life-changing experience for my wife Lorraine and I, and my Khalil and Amy, our co-partners. That's pretty much it.
You guys are incredible. I have one ask of everyone who is watching this, whether you're listening to this after the fact on the podcast or watching the live stream now, please find a way to share this out, spread this message of what Brad is doing down there and what other people are doing. Brad is, of course, not the only one out there heading up an organization or a group of people in order to bring relief to the people of Florida. But spread this message. Let us share out. If you guys notify me of any other groups that need to be highlighted or that could be highlighted for the efforts that they're doing right now, please let me do so. I would love to help raise them up because I know they're like Brad. They're like, we're not doing this for the celebrity. We're not doing this for the fame. We're doing this out of the goodness of our hearts. But I want to raise them up and I want to help give you guys an opportunity to help spread the message about them and to help be able to donate to help make their missions of restoring people's livelihoods more possible, and that's only through our actions and through our initiatives. So I want to thank you guys all for tuning in tonight. Brad, you're an incredible man. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Thank you so much for all that you've done up and down the East Coast now. Your actions right now are you are changing the world by what you're doing, and I cannot thank you enough for what you're doing. You and all of the men and women that serve with you. You guys are incredible and selfless, and is incredible and inspiring. And I want to thank you so much.
I just want to stick a head in here.
Yeah.
Come here. I want to show you my brother Khalil.
Absolutely. Hey, how's it going? Good. You?
Good, man. Nice beard.
Hey, thank you. You too. You guys are
without him.
You guys are incredible. Absolutely incredible. Thank you guys so much for all that you guys have been doing and continue to do for the people of Florida. If you were there in Bahamas with him, in that effort and everything else, you guys are just absolutely incredible. I love to see you guys pour your hearts out for other people, and I hope that people get witnessing this show tonight. They're going to have that turning and that yearning in their hearts, and they're going to come out and they're going to pour out their love and support for you in any way that they can. So thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. You guys have a great night, and I'll be in touch. I'll get in touch with Susan, and we will continue to try to help support you guys any way and every way that we can.
We appreciate it.
All right. Thank you all so much.
See you guys.
Thank you. Night.
Good night. Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is the most incredible group of people you will ever meet. thank you guys for tuning in tonight for this. If you guys can, go to the GoFundMe. It's down in the links below. Go to their Facebook page, follow them, help support them in their initiatives to help restore the lives of so many people that have been devastated by a natural disaster. Now, of course, a lot of us have sat here and go, well, you live in Florida, of course a natural disaster happens. But we all know that we're in an economic crisis right now across this country. People don't have a ways and means of really changing their lives. We know that people have not had this for many of the people that we talk about when we talk about the way the criminal justice system crashes down on them. It is because they are not in well standing or in good standing when it comes to economics and everything else. You could tell them pull up your bootstraps and make a way, but that's not just working. So there are people that have been living in Florida, whether it's because of family ties, because they can't leave, or for otherwise, that have been absolutely devastated. So if you guys can take a moment, if you guys have any ways, any possibility that you guys can help support them, please take a couple moments, go sign up at the GoFundMe. Here's the I don't have the link on this page. I could probably pull it up real quick. You guys find a way to help and support. That is huge. That is massive. Find a way to help support them in their cause. Find anyone out there that is helping the people of Florida right now and help support them in what they're doing. So if you guys need more information, you guys can reach out to Susan Donnelly, 860-480-0140. You guys can head over to the GoFundMe. That is a link in the comments below. I love you guys all. I appreciate you guys all. I will see you guys back here next week, next Friday night. I will be back. We have somebody else from Florida coming on. From Brevard County, Florida, we have the one and only Marie Peel. She is the vice chair of their county. We're going to be talking a little bit about, interestingly enough, about being in the backdrop and still being able to help turn the gears and make the machine roll, to help continue making the mission and the vision happen. And so I hope you guys will join us next Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. I hope you guys had an incredible weekend. I know it's Friday or Sunday night, so it was an interesting time for us, but I love you all. I appreciate you guys all. Please do share this out, support this post. If you don't support anything else on Muddy Waters, I understand, but if you can support this post with comments, with likes, with shares, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or any of the other live stream platforms, help get this into people's algorithms. If you can share it out, that would be incredible. I love you all. Be well, be good, and I'll see you guys next week. Take care. I'll see you guys in a little while.